playing Gears of War. Um, but he doesn't have the TV up very loud. It's just this Yeti microphone picks up everything, picks up
Yeah.
pin dropping. It's a very good microphone.
Cool.
So we are live now. Yo, 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 what is good, everybody? It is your boy Lincoln Clay coming back at you with another live stream. The godfather of gaming, the ageless wonder, L Daddy, Lincoln Daddy, as some of the 98 names that I'm starting to give myself now. How's everybody doing today? Today, as promised, I have our guest, Gamertag VR. And he is here to give us his thoughts and his impressions on the Oculus Quest, as this will go a long way towards my final decision as to whether or not to pick up an Oculus Quest. How are you doing, my friend?
I'm very good. Thank you ever so much for having me on again. So thank you.
Definitely. I appreciate you coming by. I've been watching some of these reviews or impressions, as you might want to call them, from some of the bigger name YouTube. From the bigger YouTubers like Cass and Cherry, Tyrell Wood, Nathy, Virtuality Oasis, those those guys of those caliber, and all of those people that I mentioned had got loaner headsets from Oculus. So I didn't expect them to give in my opinion, a 100% honest review.
Okay.
Out of respect for Oculus, since they were given a loaner headset. And then a lot of these same YouTubers that I speak of, after they returned the headsets and then had to turn around and buy their own, they came back with reviews again, which I think was a little more honest.
Really?
But
what? So they reviewed. They didn't kind of review it, yeah. See, I didn't know this. So they given you their first impressions on the headset on the same obviously headset, but a loaner. They've then returned it, and then they've reviewed the headset when they've owned it, and you're saying they had a different opinion?
Well, that's definitely was the case with Cass and Cherry, because I don't know if you watch Anthony of VR 365. He had Cass and Cherry as a guest on there, and he asked them about the Oculus Quest, and they said yes, that they had both. I think they said they had both a Rift S and a Oculus Quest, and they were loaner headsets, and they would have to return them. And then once they returned them, they did turn around and, at least according to them, they did buy their own Quest. And so then after that, they had another review. But, when if they've been given a headset, like Sebastian Ong right now of MRTV, right now, he's currently reviewing the HP Reverb, I believe, last week.
Okay.
And then there's some people out there right now, a couple of them got their hands on the Valve Index. Since they are big name YouTubers and they had access to the headset, I don't expect a 100% complete honest review from them until after it's already out, and then like whatever embargo might be there might be lifted. That's when I think we can expect to get an honest review from these people. With that being said, I definitely wanted to go with you. You're a good friend. I trust your opinion, and you are somebody who bought an Oculus Quest with your own money. So there's nothing to hide in terms of how you feel about the headset.
But on the flip side of that, so I might paint myself in a bad light here. What about when I receive a game for free? How does that work? Do you know what I'm saying? So I
think when you get a game for free, I think you can be honest. If the game is trash, I think there's still a way of getting your point across without slamming the game, because I've gotten a few free games myself. I think I've gotten 3 or 4 free games, review codes, whatever you want to call them.
Yeah.
And one of them really didn't do anything for me, but I was still able to give a professional opinion of it. Okay. So
there is one game I have trashed, and that is Rage Room on PlayStation VR. That is, and I don't really do reviews, but I tend to actually only do. I've done a couple, and they were for bad games, kind of, because I sort of don't want people to spend their money on a game that is bad. And that's so like so as long as there's no hidden secrets here, my Oculus Rift was given to me by Oculus. Yeah. So Oculus sent me my Rift. They didn't send me the Quest, but they sent me the Rift. So when it's weird because the people the names you've mentioned are people actually I have personal contact with, and I'm in chats with, and I don't. It's weird because I don't watch their reviews of stuff. I'm almost kind of doing my own thing so much that I don't tend to actually watch their videos very often. But knowing them, I would hope and think they do give honest opinions. I mean, it's really tough because I can see that. So being someone who's only just got into this game, I think it was November 2017. I can see why someone would say that, and I think it becomes all the more important to find a tuber that you trust and you resonate with more than just having a hell of a lot of channels that you watch and just. I mean, that's the thing. There's two ways, isn't there? You either find a couple of tubers or a tuber that you think, you know what, this guy gets the latest tech and I trust him. Or you end up watching a load of different reviews to try and end up making one yourself and making an opinion. Both are correct, both are what someone would do. But I think with VR, it's a bit different because there's not floods and floods of VR channels that some people would call either big or honest or, they've got enough content. So we all know the same ones, don't we? Terrell, Nathi, VR Oasis, Rowdy, as you said, Mr. TV, Sweeviver, Paradise Decade. You know what I mean? Like, I know all them people anyway.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, Paradise got all his stuff sent to him.
Mm-hmm. So, and I think in my case, maybe I generalized because specifically what I just described definitely happened with Cass and Cherry. They were right, for the month that they had the Oculus Quest on loaner, because I assumed Oculus gave it to them. They said it was a loaner when they were a guest on VR 365. Right. And throughout that time, they did several, hands-on, let's plays, those kind of things. Yeah. And I watched them here and there. I didn't watch every single one of them, but after the Oculus Quest launched, then they came back with, another video reviewing the Oculus Quest. And I was like,
Well, so they actually said we are reviewing the Oculus Quest because we've purchased it, kind of thing.
Yeah.
That's quite strange.
So I don't okay. That's what I took from it, because I'm like, okay, now you must be ready to give your honest opinion, because I'm guessing either you were given some lighthearted reviews out of respect for Oculus, or you were under some kind of embargo and was only limited in what you could say. That's what the impression that I got.
I do know there was two versions of the Quest. The one I used back in April had a different surround. That's all I know of, though. So I don't know why the loaner unit would be any different to the retail version. That's the only thing I was aware of, is that the surround, which is like a cotton type kind of denim on the outside. That's the only thing I knew that was different. So I don't know. I don't know why that would occur, but I mean, I wouldn't. I don't know. I mean, it's crazy because that, to me, that's a massive deal. Do you know what I mean? That to me, I'd be like, no, I don't want to deal with that. Like, I wouldn't. I couldn't imagine someone saying. I've had people say it to me though. I've had people. I've had a couple of comments where I've been sent a game and they go, "Oh yeah, like you got it for free." Like, I don't know how to stop that either. You just got to carry on. You just got to be doing what you're doing and hope that. I mean, I do think there's clickbaiters out there. That's one thing I can't stand is clickbaiters. I can't stand clickbaiters. I can't stand those thumbnails that go like, "So like this happens in this video," and then it doesn't happen. But I'll be I'm pretty shocked if that is. I mean, I'm gonna have to check that out myself. I'm like, wow, why would you? Because you're almost asking for that to be said if you're going to review a console and say this is our loaner unit, and then review what you've paid for, even though it's exactly the same. Mm-hmm. That would be,
At the time, the Cass and Cherry released another video reviewing the Quest after it had been officially launched. I didn't watch that video because at the time I was still leaning towards not picking up the Quest because I still don't have any use for the Quest. But I was beginning to think about picking up the Quest for my son because he's starting to get a little more invested in VR again because he's played a lot of Five Nights at Freddys and Pavlov. And I think those are two of the games that he's definitely going to want on the Oculus Quest. And like, have you I'm sure you probably heard of Eric for President, have you not?
Yes, of course.
Yeah, I've seen one of his videos, and I think he spoke of. Oh, I saw his video when he talked about the Pavlov beta, and what they expect from that. That it was still a work in process, but I felt like it was a pretty honest. And I think he talked a little bit about situations where you reach behind your back, how you will lose tracking for a little bit. But then he came back with another video and pointed out how he made some adjustments and got better tracking. So I really didn't know what to make of that. But getting right into the review of the Oculus Quest, because I know you're on the clock right now.
Oh no, yeah, cool. Sorry, I don't. Yeah, just don't rush anything, man. It'll be what it'll be. I've said to my wife. For anyone listening, my wife's out at the moment, and basically I've got to pick her up at some point. So but I've told her I am doing a podcast with Lincoln Clay, so that means she should wait. So that's fine.
Okay. All right. Hey, works for me. So, you've been getting in a lot of time with the Oculus Quest. I've, seen you do numerous videos with the Oculus Quest. The video that you did where you were in the woods with the Oculus Quest, was that a live video, or was that or was that recorded and then uploaded?
Yeah, it was recorded and uploaded because I needed to put my external camera together with the internal images that I recorded on the Quest.
Okay, so when you had this external camera out in the woods, was it was it Bluetooth connected or was it wired?
No, I had my MacBook Pro and it was wired. Yeah, did you see the man?
Yeah, he turned around and gave you that funny look, and I'm like, when he walked by, the way he gave that look, I was thinking to myself, if only he could see what's inside that headset, even as old as he was, he would go and buy one.
Yeah, dude. Yeah.
So, starting out with what you like about the Quest, what can you tell us about what you like about the Quest?
Well, initially now, so funny enough, it's turned into my go-to headset. And what I mean by that is, unless obviously, so at the moment, I'm sitting here and we've got the latest games and bits and bobs are going on, right? It is the easiest one to just grab, and that makes it makes such a big difference because oh no, Thomas, that isn't cool. It sits by my bed basically, always on charge. If it's charged, then I just unplug it, leave it. I've got the green light ready to go. I've got the head strap adjusted just right now, so it doesn't really slip off. Like you've really got to push it to the extremity of where it really does go under the back of your head, or the weight of that headset is significant. I don't care what anyone else says. Like that it is a heavy headset. It's not heavy in comparison, but the way the weight is one-sided, it does push. So you need to make sure the head strap is right.
Okay, I hear that the Valve Index is considerably heavier than the Oculus Quest.
Wow. I to be honest, I mean that to me, that is probably to the point where you wouldn't want it to be any heavier. That's for sure. I mean, I won't lie to you. I mean, you know me, like you do have to mess around with it to get it to that. Right, I'm ready. This is comfortable. It's not, like you see in the adverts, they slip it on and they're flipping around. Yeah, you can do that. But after 5-10 minutes, you're going to be thinking, why is the top of my head hurting? Why are my cheekbones hurting? You need to sort of, because I don't know if you've seen my review of the Oculus Quest, but you need to make sure you get these straps. There's a lot of tilt on them, massive. Like I've never seen a strap be so maneuverable, because you get the back of it underneath, like where the back of your head normally like curves in. That needs to go there, and then you need to make sure that whole headset is actually resting on as much as your face as possible, because any part of that headset leaning too much either on your forehead or your cheekbones, you will feel it. You will come out of there. Because I was the same when I used it at Coat Sync, for example. Even though I played it for like 40 minutes, and I'll be honest, I think my excitement and like how good it was, like literally made me forget about like maybe it wasn't sitting right. Only did I realize afterwards that I had the headset on completely wrong. Like it was only when I got it home did I think, wow, this is so much more comfortable than what I experienced at Coat Sync when I played it the first time. So the Quest it literally does deliver on what it says it does. It is giving you for me, a true VR wireless 6 degrees of freedom experience. And it does come at the cost of some textures, but for someone who's not, I mean, this is who it's aimed for, really, is the people who haven't got VR. It's aimed for the people who are new and your friends, your family, you bring around. They will experience like VR as it's meant to be experienced. They won't know that maybe Beat Saber looks a bit different on the Rift. They won't know that Swords of Gargantua has better textures and lighting than the Rift. Do you know what I'm saying? Like, they're going to play that game and think, Jesus, this is amazing. And I know that everyone will. There's no two ways about it. Like, super hot for me. The ultimate version is actually on the Quest.
And I understand that. I think not to cut in, but I think that from what I heard, it was the number one at one point. It was the number one sold game on the Oculus Quest, even without cross buy.
Well, super hot.
Yeah.
Oh, with good reason. Like, seriously, that and the two that always stick out in my mind, and maybe because it was the first one that I truly was like forced to like be moving around quite fast in the headset, was Vader Immortal when you do the lightsaber dojo. So obviously, like the original films with Luke Skywalker, where he's got the blast shield over his face and he's fighting the robot. You kind of fight those little robots, yeah. And dude, if I was wired playing that, I'd have ended up either strangling myself or falling flat on the floor. Because, dude, I was doing 360s like and 180s, like, where are these? Because you can hear them like, and they move from one to the other. You're like, oh my god, there it is. And then because you've got like the spatial audio going from the straps, and it is like a good VR sound. Because I'll tell you, there's one game that hasn't got spatial audio, and I've never experienced it in VR before. And I didn't realize how important spatial audio was in VR. Like, audio is a big deal in VR, and only one game has ever really, really made me realize it. With Vader Immortal, dude, like you all of a sudden hear them charge up a laser blast, and you're spinning around again. And dude, like, I'm all over the place, and I'm thinking to myself, man, that really sells the Quest for me. Do you know what I mean? Like, it sort of proves what it's all about. Yeah, it's pretty cool, man. It's pretty cool.
So the wireless aspect of the Oculus Quest outweighs the downgrading graphics then.
Absolutely, because when, as I said, Super Hot looks fantastic because the resolution is a lot higher than what I've seen it on Rift and PSVR. So that's lovely. And that's the other offset as well. Some games actually look sharper to me. I've not spent a lot of time in Beat Saber in it. You know, I've played a couple of songs on it because I've played it so much. I'm waiting for this new song pack. So I'm sort of now tied into, I don't know which headset I'm going to get it on. I probably won't get it on the Rift. I'd probably either go PSVR or Quest. Now I'm struggling in my own head because I actually believe the moves are the best controllers for Beat Saber, personally, because they feel like lightsabers. Do you know what I mean? Even though we still haven't got a lightsaber game on there.
Yeah.
So I'm probably leaning towards going, even though I love I'll probably end up buying both. I'll probably end up getting the pack on both because I've got Beat Saber on the Quest because I want to take the Quest with me to people to share. But
okay.
I think the moves are the best for it.
Okay, can you give me a second right now? My son's having an issue with the PC.
Yeah, cool, man. Sorry.
Give me 1 second.
I'll do like an intermission bit of sound. I was actually just going to I'm not going to keep that going. I can't keep that going. But yeah, Lincoln's cool. I'm glad all you guys are here supporting him. He's so cool. He's such a nice guy. What we got in the chat? Thoughts on the S? I haven't used the S, dude. But from funny enough, some of the names you said earlier, the people I talked to, apparently the clarity in that headset is absolutely fantastic. Some of the best they've ever seen. So yeah, I mean, I'd love to have an S personally, just because the setup I've got now, all these cables, It looks fantastic to me. It'd be great for me to stream with as well. So personally, and knowing that they had the patent from the PlayStation VR to Lenovo, I think it was to go over for the Rift S from the PlayStation. Yeah, dude, if I was looking not really mobile VR and just staying like indoor, like someone I spoke to said to me, "Why would on mobile VR? I only play at home." I'm like, "Yeah, cool, that makes sense." The Rift S, I'd personally probably sell. Well, I do want to sell my Rift and get the Rift S when I eventually get some money. So, yeah, I haven't used it, but the people I've been talking to, I don't hear anything but good things from them. I've heard there was a software issue at one stage, but I think
Okay,
that's been
I'm
sorted.
back. My
Hello.
apologies. Sometimes we read. Sometimes I don't know. I think a recent update to my PC affects the output on my TV. Sometimes the TV doesn't seem to be getting a signal from the.
Hello.
Yeah, yeah. God, I just experienced it again. There you go. I don't know what is going on, so I don't know. I might be in a situation where I might be forced to get a monitor.
Oh.
But yeah, sometimes sometimes the TV doesn't want to seem to get a signal from the PC, because right now I have my PC hooked up to the TV, because the computer that I'm sitting at right now, I just don't have enough room in this room to bring the Oculus over here and try to cram two PCs under this desk. So that's just something I'll have to address. But moving on. So is there, naturally, for people who've been paying attention to this, I've described the Oculus Quest as the Nintendo Switch of VR. And when you look at it that way, downgraded graphics and details are to be expected. Particle effects, that kind of stuff, lack thereof. For instance, I've seen I think I've seen Tyrell Wood do like a side-by-side of Robo Recoil on the Oculus Rift S as well as the Oculus Quest. And what I saw was, I think the graphics were actually pretty close. What I did notice is one of the things that you spoke of, and that's like shiny reflective effects weren't there. When you would tear a robot's head off, the sparks will come flying out of their neck on the Rift S, but you don't see those sparks on the Oculus Quest. When you totally destroy a robot, the robot will explode, and there's sparks everywhere. There's pieces on the ground. On the Quest version of it, when you shoot a robot, he just falls to the ground, and then after a few seconds, his body disappears. Has downgrades like that been enough to sway you away from some games?
No, and funny enough, I was talking to I'm in contact with one of the creative guys behind Blood and Truth at London Studios, and we've been messaging about the Quest. And I was writing to him today, and I think for me personally, and I don't know whether it's because I've been gaming, like I'm like 38 now. I started when I was 4. I think the Quest is incredible still. Like, I think as a piece of hardware, it's an incredible bit of tech. Do you know what I mean? When you use it and you've got the controllers in your hands, Robo Recoil. So Robo Recoil is quite a bad one for me to compare, because visually there isn't many games that look as good as that now. 2017, that game came out, and it's still, to me, on the Rift, looks absolutely mind blowing. Yeah, like it still is. It stands up there as some of the best graphics in VR, because as I said before, I think when you go to VR, a lot of it seems like there's a bit of a payoff. Oh, it's in VR, so the graphics are a little bit more last gen. Not with Robo Recoil and some other games of recent times. I think VR is actually, especially on PCs, pushing that the graphical envelope more. But with the Quest, the gameplay's still there, and I think that then comes down to you as a gamer, because VR as well, and this is another thing. With virtual reality, you lose yourself in a game. Me personally, I find I lose myself with a game more. Like I get into the game, and virtual reality means more to me when I'm in there. I'm sure you know that. I'm sure that's why you talk about it so much, because when you first try VR, you're like, dude, this is the next level. This is what I've always wanted. So, and in the Quest, you still have that. Robo Recoil feels fantastic. Unplugged is called on the Quest. Feels absolutely amazing. So I don't know. I mean, as I said, Swords of Gargantua, for example, the most recent game that I've played on the Rift, which, by the way, looks fantastic, but the game didn't really come off to me too well. The tracking was a little bit clunky. There was certain things in it I didn't particularly like. On the Quest, however, there is I think, in a way, a significant downgrade in effects, but the art style's still there. The size of everything still feels the same, but the weapons felt better and the gameplay better. So, and funny enough, when I was chatting to someone the other day, I would actually recommend Swords of Gargantua on the Quest over the Rift. So it all comes down to what type of gamer you want to be, Like, are you really into the visuals and stuff more so than the gameplay? What does it mean to you? Quest for me, dude, like, I'm quite scared of how much I like it. That's the thing. I am. Like,
wow.
Yeah, I am. I know it sounds mental. I'm so surprised. I'm so surprised. There is a few annoying things. As I said, it's quite heavy. You really need to get the head strap right. The controllers swallow batteries, dude. Like not like the Rift. The Rift, you can put a battery in it and it'll last, I don't know, 3-4 weeks. I'm going through batteries on this probably one a week, one AA a week at the moment, but maybe because I'm using it so much. But it's been a real shocker for me. It's been a real shocker. Yeah.
So talk to me about side loading or downloading games to the Quest. As you know, a lot of these games for VR, the size of these games can be as little as maybe 500 megs, or they can be as big as 20 gigs like Lone Echo. But the sweet spot seems to be like maybe 1.5, 2 gigs. So does it take a long time to download, say, a 2 gigabyte game onto the Quest?
No, funny enough, you said that. See, I downloaded Virtual Desktop today to try and stream Steam VR games into the Quest. I run out of time, basically. I had like 10 minutes this morning or something. So I don't know if you noticed on the PlayStation, when you download something, you're capped. PlayStation cap everyone's downloads roughly. I think the maximum is something like 5 megabits a second, something like that. I'm not sure if I'm correct on that, but I know my broadband's like 38, 40 megabytes a second, but I only really ever get like 5 megabytes a second download, yeah? On the Quest today, it was downloading at about 9 or 10 megabytes a second. So, I mean, it's quick enough. I don't know what to say, dude. It doesn't take, I haven't got the maths on it, but it doesn't take long to download stuff. Yeah, I find it hard to find any negatives on it currently, to be honest. I do, yeah.
Okay, so which one do you have, the 64 gig or the 128?
So I pre-ordered the 64 off Amazon. No, the 128 off Amazon. Do you remember when they leaked? Like they done like a leak on Amazon, and I managed to get one, and I was like, sweet, dude. And there wasn't many people who got it, and I was like, man, I can't wait to get this. And then I got an email saying delivery would be December 2019. And I thought, what the hell, man? Like, that ain't right. How's this happened? So I canceled my order and went with Oculus. Ordered the 128 because I didn't know the file sizes at the time. Then during one of my live chats or whatever, I went through the viewers and I was like, dude, what have I done? Like, these games are, as you just said, they can be like 400 megabyte to 2.6, I think, Dance Central so far. Now, don't quote me on that. There might be a bigger one now, but at the time before release, 2.6 gig was the biggest game. Literally, you could fit nearly the whole catalogue of Quest games on launch on your Quest at 64 gig. So I was like, I don't need the 128. I really don't, because I know I'm not going to have all those. I'm definitely not going to buy all the games because you're double dipping as well. There's certain games I'm not going to... only because of what I'm doing now would I double dip, because people are going to ask me, what's it like? Is it better? Blah, blah, blah. So I've got the 128, but anyone who's out there and who isn't a content provider and who just wants it to, just as a normal gamer, the 64 is actually enough, like easily enough.
Okay, that definitely goes a long way, because again, since since I'm looking to possibly pick this up for my son, I really don't want to drop $500 for the 128 gig headset. So I was hoping that the 64 gig would be enough. So that is huge. I definitely appreciate that answer there. That will go a long way.
Well, to the point, I tried to cancel mine. I got hold of Oculus. You like open a ticket, and I said, look, I want to cancel my 128. I've learned the file sizes. I don't need it. And they said, well, if you cancel it now, that's going to put you back to today, which was like, I don't know, a week before launch in the pre-order process. So I said to them, look, can you guarantee I'm going to get one on launch? And they said no. So I just thought, look, I might as well just put up and shut up and stand by my decision. Don't get me wrong, I'm really happy with what I've got now because I've got it. But dude, yeah, like if that $100, I would have been happy just having a 64 because also at the same time, the file sizes are of such a size that it's no real issue to delete and download again. Like if you delete, like the other day when we had the problem with firewall, and everyone was, first of all, people said the game isn't broke, the game's not broken. The update sort of changed something, so you need to delete your game and re-download it. It was 26 gigs, and I was thinking, Jesus, 26 gigs, and everyone was trying to re-download it at the same time.
So that probably slowed that things down greatly.
I think it took 38 minutes to re-download it again. So yeah, like 2 gigs on the Oculus. I don't know how quick that would be, but I can't see it being more than 5 minutes for a game to download. But the only issue as well is going on holiday. You might not have Wi-Fi. I mean, most places these days have Wi-Fi when you're away, so you're going to have access. So yeah, dude, I seriously think the 64 gig is enough because I knew that was one of the big clickbaity things that people were talking about putting the Quest down, saying you couldn't add storage. And I get that. It would be nice to be able to add storage, but Apple doesn't do it. And maybe Oculus thought we don't want to do it because it basically then forces people to spend more money on, to be fair, we all know the prices of memory these days. 128 gig is nothing. It doesn't really cost anything. Mm-hmm. So I get that from a marketing point of view, but those two sizes are, the 64 gig is enough. It really is.
Okay. That definitely is a big help. I hope Oculus doesn't do something underhanded by maybe inflating the size of some of these files. I hope they don't do something like that try to fill up your memory faster, and then you decided, hey, I should have went up to the 128.
Yeah, well, yes, so do I.
Yeah. That would be awful if they did that. So have you had a chance to play the Pavlov alpha build?
I have.
And I assume you have Pavlov on the Rift?
I do.
Okay, so so what do you think? Is the downgrade too much that you don't feel is it'll be worth the buy, or do you think it'll still be worth it?
So how can I put it? So so as I said, once again, the resolution is sharp. Yeah, in the game, you don't lose. The resolution is quite impressive. The textures were a little bit, how can I say it, bit blurrier, bit muddier, but it kind of had, and this is maybe going to excite people, I hope not too much, it kind of felt a bit like GoldenEye, more so than when I played it on the Rift. When I played it on the Rift, it felt like I'm playing Pavlov, yeah? When I was sitting in the Quest, I thought, oh, this reminds me of GoldenEye for some reason today. I'm not sure why. I was messing around, and it had a really nice feeling. But there is updates to be done for sure. A lot of the gun sounds ain't quite right. Some of the hit detection seemed a little bit funny for now and again, and there was no one online in particular. It was a bit glitchy, but it's the start of something. It's the start of side loading. Have you downloaded? I know you haven't got it, obviously, but I've done a video on how to install side quests on your PC and then put Quake on your on your Quest as well.
No, I was not aware of that because I definitely would like to play that because I know like Quake 3 on the Dreamcast was like I played that game for hours way back in the day, so I would love to experience that in VR.
On dial-up. 48. What was the connection back then for the Dreamcast? It must have been just like 48K.
Something like that, yeah, because I didn't even know what the numbers were back then because I didn't understand that stuff because I didn't realize how slow dial-up was, in terms of playing video games. I knew how slow it was in terms of downloading, music, a song that was like 3 minutes that was 3 minutes long could take 45 minutes to download through dial-up. And that came along at a time where broadband as we know it was in its infancy. And Sega allowed crossplay back then with the Dreamcast. That's another thing that made it way ahead of its time. So I'm playing with people on PC, and they were moving so fast that I could not zero in on them. What I had to do was try to anticipate where I thought they were going to go and fire a shot in that direction and hope they run into it. But the PC guys were telling me that I looked like I was moving in slow motion.
Okay.
So yeah, but I would love to be able to experience something like Quake 3 in VR, because that was one of the first games that I saw that showed body dismemberment, body parts flying all over the place and blood all over the ground. That was one of the first games I ever seen. So that like prompted me to play Quake 3 for hours. And I think that's, the body dismemberment and the gore and stuff like that. I wouldn't be surprised if that's where they got the idea from on Gears of War. But so how is Quake on the Quake?
I mean, Quake is actually surprisingly very good. And once you get the side quest on your PC, it is so easy, dude. Like Pavlov was relatively easy, but on side quest, it is mega easy. Like as long as you've got your quest in developer mode, which also enables you to turn off the Guardian system permanently if you want to. You basically connect it via either USB-C to USB or USB-C to USB-C or USB to USB-C, because USB-C is what the Quest is. Plug it in, it connects, you have access to your Oculus Quest files, and then it just says install, and that's it. You install it.
So let me stop you real quick and ask you this. So you go into developer mode to sideload these games into the Oculus Quest, and that turns off the Guardian, right?
It's an option.
Okay. Okay, so but you can turn it back on once you get these games downloaded into the Quest then.
Yeah. So I don't know why I brought up the Guardian. All I know is in the headset, it's the only thing you can sort of directly change in developer mode is Guardian on and off. Because I saw it in the menu and I thought, dude, I don't ever want to turn that off. Just in case.
Because my son, he's going to, even with the bigger bedroom that he's in right now, he's going to have limited space. So the Guardian is critical. Yes, even right now in my living room, I don't have a lot of space. I think
you would have to intentionally turn it off. You would have to it's on by default. Put it that way.
Okay.
If you never turns it off, it'll always be on.
Okay, so the Guardian is huge. I mean, I think the Guardian system is far more effective than PlayStation VR, where it says, because the PlayStation VR will tell you when you're out of view or out of range or whatever the case may be, but it doesn't tell you when you're about to fall over the couch or table or.
Dude, I know. Yeah, it's crazy. I was trying to tell someone about that the other day, and I still now, even with the Quest, I still peek as much as I can because it's a lot. The gap by your nose, there is one, but not as much as the Rift. I still have a quick peek to think, where am I? Do you know what I mean? Because it's quite strange to give yourself up to the Guardian system so much. To have that much faith in it, for me, I haven't had no issues with it. But the old school gamer in me is still facing forward because I'm thinking of facing tracking, and I'm still, it's just the Guardian system is very good, very clever.
The Guardian system, I definitely live and die by that Guardian system. I trust it. So when I draw out my Guardian, what I did is one particular corner of my play space. I deliberately drew a jagged line in that corner, so I would always know where I'm at. So, for instance, I'm looking straight ahead, but the area where I deliberately drew out that jagged corner, I'll just say that it's in the southwest corner of my play area. So if I ever get to, if the Guardian ever happens to show up, all I have to do is look around for that jagged area, and I'm like, okay, that's where that corner is. So I know this is where I should be, and this is where I should be facing without ever having to take the headset off. Because if you draw a perfect square, you just don't know. So for instance, if you draw out your Guardian and you're facing where the TV is, like for that, what I did was I made a wavy line instead of a perfectly straight line.
Okay.
So again, if I wander, if I start to wander out of the area and the Guardian shows up and I see where that wavy line is, then I already know to get back in that area and face that wavy line, and then I will be, facing my TV again.
That's quite a clever idea, actually.
So when you got limited, because again, I've got a small living room. I got a 65-inch TV sitting on a glass stand, and I have my computer sitting in front of it. And then I got 2 sofas crammed into my living room. So I only have, so after that, I only have like about a 6. I would probably say I probably got about a 6x8 play area. So that's not a lot of room. So it was critical that I be able to draw the Guardian out in such a way that I know where I'm at all times without having to take the headset off.
Yeah, cool.
So sometimes I'll deliberately reach my arm out to bring up the Guardian so I can get back in place if I go out of place. So speaking of the Guardian, I saw a video from a YouTuber that spoke of the Guardian drifting, same way you get the gun drift with the aim control on the PSVR. He explained that the Guardian on the Oculus Quest was drifting, that he found that the Guardian was, drifting over to the left, and sometimes he'd have to raise his headset up to make sure he wasn't going to bump into anything. So did you experience any drift with the Guardian?
I haven't personally, no, not yet. That doesn't say it won't happen because, I guess the technology itself is still pretty new, and how it works is, I find it quite amazing still. So I'm not sure. I haven't come across it personally yet. As soon as I do, though, I would obviously let people know, because if I can find a fix or something, I'd also try and do that, because obviously the Guardian system, it shouldn't fail. It shouldn't go wrong. It's quite critical, really.
I guess I left out the part that I guess towards the end of the video, I guess he updated the video and thinks that the drift might have been affected by sunlight coming into his play area.
Yeah, so sunlight does have a right. Okay, well, to me, I mean, personally, if he'd have said that at the beginning, I wouldn't have watched it, because at the end of the day, those cameras and sunlight don't get on, and that's not just from a perspective of it burning, because I've seen you can get screen burning from direct sunlight on it. So when I played in the woods, I was it was a lovely day, the sun was coming through the leaves and stuff, and I found as much of a shaded area as I could. But when there was even a glimmer of sunlight, basically my tracking went it sort of flipped a little bit, and then it went back, and I was like, oh, what's that? And then I tried it a few more times, and I realized if the sunlight hit any of the Insight cameras, it didn't know which way was up, basically. So and that's probably the biggest reason that they probably say don't play it in sunlight.
Okay. Do you think? I think it can't happen. I don't think it will happen, but I'll still go ahead and ask this questions anyway. What's up, Garuda, Tamas Hand, Jamal Adams? Sorry that I haven't been acknowledging you guys. Fatal, what's going on? But at some point, Gamertag's gonna have to pick up his wife. So I don't want to slow down the.
It's all good, man. Honestly,
it's answering questions left and right. But I'll try to pick off some questions here and there in the comment. So, are you prepared for the possibility that a game maybe like a Lone Echo probably won't come to the Quest? Because as of right now, Lone Echo still stands to be the best looking VR game that I have ever seen, with maybe Blood and Truth coming second. But I still think Lone Echo is the best looking game I've ever seen in VR. So you think do you think there's a strong possibility that it won't come to the Quest? And are you okay with that?
I love the fact that Robo Recoil works the way it does, because there's people on PlayStation now who haven't got PCs, yet they've experienced Robo Recoil in what I would say is a very good way on Quest. Do you know what I'm saying? It's not a different game. It's the same game. It just doesn't look as good. So they have played Robo Recoil, which is great. I would love them to experience Lone Echo. Would it be the same experience? I think they could pull it off, because Robo Recoil really inspired faith in me, especially in the Quest graphically. I was like, this is there's only one bit of that game that I thought was a bit poor, was the bullet tracing. Like when you know what I'm saying. So when you shoot a bullet, it's like a yellow bar or a yellow block of flash. You can see what they're the only thing in that game that I thought, oh, that looks a bit poor. But otherwise from that, it was fantastic. Could Lone Echo work like that? Yeah, but would it have that jaw-dropping effect? Because I'm sure, as much as Lone Echo is a great game, the graphic fidelity is part of the game that makes you think, wow, like this is fantastic. So, I don't know, but they've announced Onward today, haven't they? It's coming to the Quest.
To the Quest?
Yeah.
Oh, that's huge.
Yeah, dude.
So now, okay, so that's actually a good subject to get into right now. So that with Pavlov, I'm sure you are aware that there's not going to be crossplay with this game. That only Quest people are going to be able to play with each other with Pavlov, and there's not going to be any mods in there. But I understand that the developers are well aware of the mods and know that that's very popular with gamers. So I guess what they're going to try to do is take some of those modded maps and some of those modes and add them to the finished version of Pavlov for the Quest. So, I mean, so how do you think that's going to go, being that they're going to be restricted to only playing with each other?
It might be more popular, to be honest, because I think personally the Quest is going to be a massive product, and any game, especially when it comes to crossplay, will benefit massively from the Quest backing, because the biggest it is going to, I think personally, it's going to be the biggest selling VR headset. I really do, because I think a bit like the Wii, people who aren't necessarily massively like tech into tech, they're going to see the Quest and go, well, £399. It's not a great deal of money. It's a PlayStation. It's a PlayStation Pro. So, without any of the bells and whistles of VR. So, it's a tough one, dude. It's tough. But I think personally, any game that could cross-play with Quest, or actually, like you just saying, man, like to be on that whole community just on Quest, I think it'd be quite big.
Yeah. Real quick. Yeah, Garuda, I saw you right there. I just put a link to Gamertag's YouTube page in the chat right here. So if you haven't done it, make sure you go to his channel, sub to his channel. He's got really great content, and I definitely enjoy watching his gameplay and that stuff, sort of stuff. And his videos are very informative, and that is the biggest reason why I've asked him to come on now. I think that was something. So what about Onward? Do you think that's going to be cross-play, or you think that's going to be the same situation with Pavlov, where they're only going to be restricted to playing with each other?
So I was literally, as you were saying that, I was just reading about it today. So let me just quickly check. I mean, they've just stated as well, Onward is still in early access on the Rift. So there's not much more information than that. So
okay,
it literally just says it is going to be coming.
Okay. What information do you have about Five Nights at Freddy's coming to the Quest?
I didn't know it was.
Well, I mean, I don't know if it is or not either. I haven't heard anything about it. I'm under the impression, though, that the game doesn't appear to be graphically demanding. It that I can't remember what size the file was, though.
No, I can't. I actually, so I did a play of Five Nights at Freddy's on the PlayStation, and I thought graphically it was very good. Like, I thought it was really good, dude. Like graphically as well. When you're, especially when you're in the vent system, I don't know the names of the characters. Like my son and his generation, they know these characters by name. There is actually a real following of Five Nights at Freddy's because yeah, I didn't know. Honestly, I've heard of it. I know about it. I've never played it before. It was my first time. I had no idea of even the gameplay mechanics. I just thought it was going to be a walk-around horror game like Resident Evil or something. And the next minute, I'm a security guard shutting doors and turning lights off. And I'm like, what the hell is going on? And I literally relied on the viewers to tell me and help me out, try and figure it out. So Graphically, dude, yeah. As I said before, if it's hard because in a way I actually need you need content providers like yourself and other people to see it for yourself. Like VR, you need to see a game you've played, if you want to, a game you've played on the Rift or the PlayStation, and then see it in the Quest, and really ideally your friends, and then you'll go, do you know what, as I did, I thought, wow, this is actually really good, this is better than I thought. And yeah, they've really pushed a lot, they've really pushed that Snapdragon 835.
Yeah.
Like everything I've played on it so far is nothing but quite impressive. And I think the wireless side of it, the ease of setup, or the lack of setup, really, there is no setup, is there? You put it on, it turns on, and you're good to go, because it's got like the sensor like the Rift, where if you put it on, it knows you put it on. As long as you haven't actually shut it off yourself, it's just in like a power save mode. You're good to go within, I don't know, 3 seconds, I'd imagine. I think it is.
Okay. So, before I get off of the Five Nights at Freddy's subject, I think that game is a must. I think that is a game that has to come to the Quest, because the game is doing pretty good right now on VR in general. In fact, I think I can't remember where I got it from or whose video I saw it on, but I guess Five Nights at Freddy's was the most downloaded game on the PlayStation VR in the month of May, over Blood and Truth, over Everybody's Golf, and the game is doing pretty good. So with that being said, and I assume it's a big hit with kids because they have such a huge following. And and I'm seeing some of these bigger name YouTubes like 8-Bit, I can't remember his name. I think Markiplier, I think he's done a few of them. So this game is definitely going to be a big hit with kids. So I almost think it is a must that Five Nights at Freddy's come to the Quest. They have to.
Okay, so you're going to be happy with the bit of information I've just found, and I'll try to put it in your chat, but it's a little bit too long. Five Nights at Freddy's VR Help Wanted is available now on PSVR, HTC Vive, Oculus Rift, Rift S for $29.99. Steelwall Games have also confirmed they are hard at work on an official release for the Oculus Quest, but no timeline has been provided.
Okay, so, then that's good enough information that we do have confirmation that it's coming to the Oculus Quest.
We have, yeah.
That is excellent. They had to do it because, I mean,
nice.
I have to say that after day one when this game released, I have to assume that the game did overwhelmingly well, and they had to say, like, right now, get to work and start putting that Quest version together right now. I mean, they had to do it just that quick if they weren't already doing it.
Yeah, it's the hot topic. It's the hot topic, and it was on YouTube. There's no ways about it. I said before, I'm not going to lie about it. I made a Oculus Quest video because I was like, funny enough, I know the big people were, but I was thinking, dude, there's not many videos on Oculus Quest, and I put one out the day we was going out one day, and the night before I was like, dude, I really want to make a Quest video, try and get some of my viewers on point, to see the potential of this. All I knew was the tech specs and what I thought was going to happen, but I was hyped for it, and I wanted to share that hype. And I made a video, and I think it got like 20,000 views. And for a small channel like mine, I was like, wow, that's pretty crazy. Like, there's obviously a lot of hype out there. And then I started noticing that, because I know I have a lot of other tubers follow me who are either smaller or bigger or whatever, because I might make a video about something and next minute they've made a video about a similar subject, or it looks the same. And I'm sure everyone does that. But the Quest, all of a sudden I was like, dude, there's another video. Like, people were just popping out. And then you had some clickbait Quest videos, which I didn't particularly appreciate. They were just pointless, really. It was just because it had the name Oculus Quest in it. But the point is, that's how much of a hot topic it is. People are willing to even like jeopardize a little bit of credibility to get some clicks on a video because they know people are interested in the console, which is great for VR. It doesn't matter how you look at it, whether the video was a bit of a clickbait or not, it was still interest in VR, and that's what we want.
Definitely. Have you noticed that like across different applications that Oculus Quest users are kind of like forming their own clique, their own community? something like, and you almost feel like an outsider when you like. I'm sure you've tried the big screen app, right?
I have had a little go on big screen, yeah.
I actually like the big screen app. It's actually pretty cool. But the crazy part about it is most of the people using the big screen app are Quest users. So I went into this one app where people were like rapping freestyle in there. I guess a guy was playing music on the big screen, and there was like 10 people in there, and they were all taking turns freestyling. They're all moving their hands, rapping, and that kind of stuff. So out of the 10 people that was in there, about 7 of them was on the Oculus Quest, and you could, and then it became obvious because they were the ones that were bunched up in the center of the patio. So people like me that were on the Rift and stuff like that were sitting on the sofa from the outside. So
that's terrible.
They didn't alienate me or discriminate me, but you could tell the people that had the Quest were a little more closer. They had a little more of a bond there. And I sat in one theater where a guy was playing a bunch of YouTube videos, some of that world star hip hop type stuff. And this room had about 6 people in there, 4 of them were on the Quest. And I friended one of them. And I asked him, what did you think of the Quest? He said, I absolutely love it. He said the no wires. He said, you just can't beat that. He couldn't say about the no wire thing.
Yeah, it does change everything. Honestly, I love my PlayStation because of the exclusives. I love my Rift because of the graphics and the exclusives. But as I said earlier, man, there's something to be said for the accessibility of the Quest. It's a massive, and until you get it, all of a sudden, like, you don't realize the hassle of VR until you get the Quest. Do you know what I'm saying? You don't realize the setup process and all the clicking and all the bits you're doing and making the areas. And I don't know, I'll just literally kick something out of the way, put it on, and I'm done. I'm like, wait, I'm in. Just, I don't know. It's just so damn easy.
Yeah, one of the simple things that I definitely want to experience on the Quest is to be able to lay in bed and watch a movie, like a 3D movie or something like that through the Quest.
I haven't done a 3D movie. I watched some Netflix. I was trying some Netflix. I was laying in bed, but I was laying on my front. I also played Moss laying down on my front, so it was weird because I played Moss laying down, yeah, and it was weird because it felt like I was looking down into Moss into my bed. It was quite a strange feeling, I was like laying there with my headset on and leaning on my elbows, and I was like looking into Moss. Yeah, that was weird. That was different.
Wow. So every day I've been checking the websites for the availability of the Oculus Quest. And then on sites like Best Buy, it says they don't have any in store and it's not available to order online. And then I go over to Newegg and they said, item is out of stock and it may not be restocked. I was like, wow, are you kidding me? So every retailer that's supposed to be able to carry the Quest is all sold out. Okay. The only retailer I went to, online retailer, Amazon, they are the only ones that can give you a date on when you might receive a Quest if you want to pre-order it. If you want to order it. Everywhere else I went to has said that they're sold out, and it doesn't seem to be, they don't give you a date as to when you might be able to order any. Amazon's the only one that can give you a date, and it's still like 2 to 3 weeks out. With that being said, are you surprised how quickly the Oculus Quest sold out and how high in demand it is?
Yeah, I was. As I said earlier, I'm a massive backer of it. I knew it was going to be amazing. Did I expect it to sell out? No. I hope they haven't just wanted it to sell out because then it becomes more of a wanted item, more of a luxury item, a special item, because I'm sure some idiots have probably bought one and put it on eBay for triple the price, and I hate things like that. Really annoy me. But yeah, dude, if it is sold out the way, how many did he give away at F8? How many did Mark Zuckerberg? He gave everyone who attended that unveiling, the Facebook thing.
Oh yeah, boy, I was so jealous to hear that.
Dude, I was like, what? I had someone, I had a few people message me and say, I subbed you, dude, because of your reaction. I was like, and I don't remember what it was, but I remember thinking, bloody hell, that's incredible. Like, imagine getting a free headset just for sitting in a chair. Like,
Yeah.
yeah, it's crazy.
That's the thing about, I guess that's the trade-off of me being a really small YouTuber like this. Because something like the Oculus Quest, yes, I'm going to have to buy it out of my pocket. Oculus isn't going to send little old me, a headset. But if they did, I wouldn't be able to be honest with it. I mean, I don't feel like I could be 100% honest. I would never say, oh, it's trash or this and this and this and this. But I would say, hey, be aware of this, be aware of that. I would never call it trash. I would just say, hey, here's the benefits. Here's the, here's some things that I'd like to see improve. With that being said, other than the weight of the headset itself, what kind of other improvements would you like to see happen to the Oculus Quest?
So there is I also put this in my review. I think there was an issue with the right strap. It's only ever happened once, but it obviously worried me because it's £500. Because the pound to dollar conversion doesn't exist. For some reason, we're paying the same amount, which probably means we're paying, I don't know how much more than you than for the same thing. But the right strap seemed to have like a bit of a judder, or I don't know. When you hear a speaker that's blown, it was like that, but it was tickling my temple. Like, and it felt like, I don't know, like when you get a little bug on your face or your back or something, it felt like that. And I was like, what is going on? So I immediately turned it down because I thought, oh no, I've blown the speaker. And I moved the strap and it went, and it never come back. But obviously that initial fear of like, oh no, dude, it's already gone wrong. No, yeah, it was fine. There was nothing wrong with it. I went on, in one of the tuber chats I'm in, someone else said, have you experienced this? A lot of them said no. I said yes. He said he had it as well, and he found out it was the positioning of the strap. So basically, if you're going to wear the headset wrong, like I was, like a couple of times, it will basically vibrate. It sort of sits a little bit loose, not quite right, and it kind of vibrates. But I've never had it since, and I've used it for hours. So there was that. Did you? What did you say? What else would I like to see improve?
Yeah.
I would like to see the streaming features improved, because like it does cost a lot of money to want to stream this, because you got to buy a Chromecast Ultra, you got to buy an HDMI splitter, because there's no way of removing HDCP otherwise. So, and for those who don't know what that is, that's copyright protection. So that, and you can only stream to Facebook, but it'll only be in a square format. I think you can either choose between, you can either have game sound or vocals. You can't have both. So there's, from a content providing point of view, that's all. I'd like to see an improvement. Recording footage, that's also in a square format. I don't know why. I wish it wasn't. I wish it was just in a nice landscape, widescreen format. But as I said, these are all things really, apart from the head strap thing, I can't think of much else.
So let me walk you back a little bit. You're saying that you can only stream live on Facebook with the Quest?
Yes, internally on the headset. If you wanted to stream live from that headset, you can only do it to Facebook.
Wow! So you can't stream stream to YouTube, or
no?
Wow, that's interesting. So so all this time, that was why these recorded videos you were recording them because you couldn't stream live at the time, or?
Oh no, it's basically like, so the Woods one I couldn't stream anyway because or I can stream from the Quest, but it also depends on the game. So at the moment, there's only 2 games I've come across what won't let me stream, and that is Beat Saber, which apparently they're working on because that is a stupid decision, and Vader Immortal. So you cast, yeah, that's your social screen. You cast via your network onto Chromecast, same as when you're watching a YouTube video and you put it on your TV. But no, actually, it's not like that, because if you do it on your TV then takes it off the network anyway. But regardless, if I'm casting from the Quest, you can have some lag and stuff. So you cast from the Chromecast, from the Quest to the Chromecast Ultra or your mobile phone. So then you can show your mobile phone. You can say to someone, "This is what I'm seeing," like you would on a PlayStation. Like, look at this screen. Yeah, this is what I can see in the headset. So I use that image through the Chromecast Ultra, through the splitter to my Elgato, to the PC, to OBS. That's how you stream with the Oculus Quest. That's the only way I can live stream it, I think, personally, I know of.
That sounds like a lot of workarounds.
There is another way. I'm pretty sure there is another way, but I've never really looked into it because the ratio was like a landscape and you lost sound or something. Some people I've watched when they're live streaming, they have the square image. So they put it over to one side. You'll see a lot of Quest videos where the image is like half the screen. For that reason. It's not because they want the chat one side, or you'll know that they basically, that's the image they've got, is a square image. And me personally, I love that widescreen image. It does come at a loss of clarity at times, and it drops out a few times. But a lot of the people on my streams are like, "Yeah, dude, we're happy, we like it, we understand." Because someone said to me, they went, "Oh, the Quest is really juddery." And he said, "But now it's okay again." And I went, "Yeah, it's because I'm casting. Like for 10 seconds out of every 5 minutes, it might lag and then catch up again." As long as people understand that, you're good.
Okay. So another concern of mine with the Quest is that any games that you play online, you're going to be doing it through Wi-Fi. And I'm a firm, that at least that's my assumption. And I'm a hard believer that a hard wire is always going to be faster than Wi-Fi. So have you played any games online with the Quest, and have you experienced a lot of lag or a lot of late response time due to the Wi-Fi?
I have. What have I played online? I mean, definitely I played Sword of Gargantua online because I've done a lot of a live stream review of it. There was a little bit in the beginning of the gameplay. But nothing major. But then, to be honest, I bought like this bloody 5 gigahertz amazing alien spaceship looking Netgear router to make sure that I've got the best Wi-Fi I can, because I've got so many cables. I was like, I've got to sort this out. And to get Wi-Fi around the house as well was quite a pain. In our last house, for some reason, Wi-Fi just moved around quite easily. In this house, it's not so easy. So I had to like buy this special router. So personally, no, I haven't really had that much of an issue with it. But then, unless you've got like fixed servers, I tend to find some lag anyway, regardless of a game. If it's dependent on on an individual's like Firewall, for example. I think that's based on your internet. Whoever the host is.
Yeah,
I find lag like that anyway, and that happened whether I'm wired or not. So then again, it comes down to the game, really. Is like you play something like Call of Duty and it's smooth as butter. You might still get lag one day, but that's because one person's connection is lagging out, not everyone's. So I've not really used it enough to actually give a really, really good comment on it, to be honest.
Okay, so but at the moment, you would kind of say it's a game by game basis. So it's not. The lag is something that's not happening across the board. You're saying it's a game by game basis. It depends on that game.
Yeah. So like earlier, I jumped in Rec Room, and it was fine. I was chatting to people. It was just like Rec Room. There was nothing surprising. I wouldn't have known whether I was wired or not. Swords of Gargantua, there was a little bit of lag in the beginning, but then it seemed to settle down and it was fine. And that was 4 of us fighting like these different monsters trying to protect something. So yeah, dude. What else have I been online with? Oh, Dead and Buried 2, even though I don't fully recommend that game at the moment.
I hear it's kind of, people are calling it like a Quake type game, a really fast point, run and gun shooter type. Nothing like the original Dead and Buried, because I guess one of the features that's not there that people are really disappointed about is the 1 versus 1 high noon shootout.
It was. I don't even know why it carried the same name, Dead and Buried, really, because it is nothing like the same. It's not really.
That's a little bit disappointing, because that was one of the games that I was looking forward to, because I absolutely love the high noon shootout, the 1 versus 1 on Dead and Buried. I absolutely love that. See who can draw the fastest and see who's the accurate. I absolutely love that, and I was hoping that that we were going to get that what a more improved version of it, but that's a little bit disappointing to know that that's not there.
So Dead and Buried was the game that I was meant to touch on earlier about how important positional audio is, because that game hasn't got it. So to play a VR game where everything sounds like it's coming in front of you or left and right of you, like traditional stereo, doesn't work. Because for the first time ever, I went into a game and there was a girl there, and she said, "Oh, GT, come this way." It didn't mean anything because I couldn't see her and I couldn't tell where she was talking to me from. She always just sounded to the like the center of me. She never sounded around me, and I was like, "That's weird."
That's interesting.
Yeah, dude. It's so in VR. Honestly, like I was like, "That is creepy." So I found the game and we started playing, and that changed the gameplay completely because obviously there's explosions, there's people running around, and stuff's going on. You couldn't tell where it was. You wouldn't know where it was coming from.
That's a little bit disappointing to know. Will it work if you use your own headphones?
It wouldn't make any difference. It's the game itself.
Oh, so again, is that a situation where it depends on the developer and how they optimize the game, or is that a situation where the hardware won't allow them to put in the true surround sound or 3D sound or something like that?
Going by every other game on the Quest, I would say it's completely a developer issue.
Okay.
Because no other VR game have I ever experienced it.
Okay. All right. So that's a good thing to know too, because that is for people who don't play VR, the surround sound or the 3D sound or whatever you want to talk about, that is huge because it you know where something's coming from before you even turn in that direction to face it.
Yeah.
So that's huge. There is I went to Upload VR and I read an article about a game called Population 1. It's supposed to be a VR battle royale game. We're starting to get a lot of those. We're starting to get a lot of VR battle royale game.
Can't wait for that.
Yeah, but what caught my attention about this game is that it's supposed to be cross-play with the Quest.
Mm-hmm.
And so do you see a situation where people who are on the PC, because they have much more power, is that a game where you think they might end up having an unfair advantage?
I don't think they'd allow that to happen. I don't see how, because there would be massive backlash because it might sell more on the Quest than it does on the Rift. So for potential's sake, you're saying power, which would mean to me that you're saying the Quest would be the disadvantaged side. You could have a mass population of people who have bought that game going, I'm getting killed so easy because the Rift people are wired. And, I don't know, whatever you're saying might be better power-wise. I'm not sure. I can't see that personally happening. They've got to be so careful these days with multiplayer games and getting them correct because you put out a game like that, which at the moment is getting pre-hyped a lot because it looks like Fortnite VR, pretty much. We haven't got anything of that caliber, that quality. Standout is a fantastic battle royale game. I really enjoyed it, but it's rough. It's a rough-edged game. It's sparse. The graphics aren't particularly amazing, but it's good. It's good fun. But this game looks next level. This game looks like Fortnite in VR. So I would hope they would get it bang on. I hope they would get it right.
Okay, that is definitely good to know. So that was very informative in helping me make a determination whether or not that I'm going to get an Oculus Quest and what to expect if I get one. So,
cheers, thank you.
So I can't thank you enough for the input on that. With that being said, I'll go ahead and get ready to shut this down. So you can tie up loose ends on your side. And then I think at some point I'm going to get ready to bump my son off this computer so I can get some game therapy in myself.
Nice.
But is there anything you want to include before we shut it down?
Just want to thank you again for having me on. I know sometimes I can probably talk for too long. I do apologize.
I mean, it would be fine with me, but I don't want to put you in a pinch. So
Oh, yeah, cool, man. Thank you very much for having me on. I really appreciate it, and your audience is fantastic. And yeah, cheers. Thank you.
Without a doubt, and I want to thank everybody who tuned in the comment section. My apologies for not being able to respond to every comment, as we needed to squeeze in every bit as we could, before Gamertag makes his way off to go pick up his wife. But I definitely want to thank him for coming on. This was huge, and this definitely goes a long way, as I said before, in helping me decide whether or not that I'm going to get a Quest. More than likely, I'm going to get one. But I guess I'll probably get one when the next wave gets ready to hit. So it'll probably be about 3 weeks or something before I get one.
Yeah, I mean, I hate to say it, dude. Like, you might have a different opinion, and I'd be interested just as much to hear it. I hope you don't. I hope you play it and think.
That's the thing about it. I still don't really have that much of an interest to play the Quest for myself. Most of this is for my son. And I was trying to gather up every bit of information that I could so I could relay it to him so he knows what to expect. So I had to put it to him to expect this Quest to be the Nintendo Switch of VR. It may not perform as well as the Rift or the Vive. It's definitely not going to look as good as those headsets, but it's still going to be a good experience. It'll be wireless, no PC. I just explained to him like Pavlov, for instance. When you shoot somebody on the Rift version, you can see the blood coming out of the body. You can see those red bubbles coming out of their body as you shoot them. That's not the case in this alpha build for the Quest. And I'm led to believe that the finished product is probably going to be like that because the finished product of Robo Recoil is like that. So I wanted to forewarn him that, you play Pavlov, there's not going to be a situation where you shoot someone where blood still comes out, but the helmet still does fly off if you hit him with a headshot.
I personally think you will, whatever you think of it now, I think you'll think a lot more of it when you get it. And I think you'll be surprised how much you'll want to use it. That's what I think will happen, because that's what's happened to me. I've got I don't know if I've ever talked about my PC specs, but so the sort of graphics I can get. It's a good PC. So I've already got a good quality of VR vision, VR gaming, and I still sometimes think, I've only got 15 minutes or I've got half hour. I chuck the Quest on. And it's, the other day I was thinking, dude, like, I'm going to this headset more than both my others at the moment. And that's scary for me because I'm a massive PlayStation fan. Huge. It's what got me in the game of doing this. And I'm reaching for the Quest and I'm like, is this really happening? Am I, like someone in my chat the other day, it's morphin time. Love it. Tyrannosaurus. Yeah, E3 hype, dude. He said to me, I haven't played my PlayStation VR for like 5-6 days and I'm thinking of packing it up. I was like, Jesus, that is
because of the Quest?
Yeah. It's a massive statement, and I would never do that myself, obviously, because I love my PlayStation. There is games on there. It's still got, for me, the best exclusives on everything. But I can see why he said that, because I'm finding myself picking it up a bit more, like every time I go to think of doing a stream, I think, what haven't I streamed on the Quest? When there's games on PSVR I'd love to still play again, like Resident Evil is a game you can go back to every time. There's tons of games. But yeah, dude, like I'm just finding myself picking up the Quest. And when I bring people round, I'm not putting them in the PlayStation or the Rift. I'm going, here, try the Quest. Because it's easy. It's so easy, they haven't got to come up in my room or my now half room office. I can go, yeah, you stay here, stay downstairs. I'll bring it down here, and there's a massive play space, and and honestly, I think you'll see it like I do. The potential of it is huge.
Oh yeah, no question. I think I've posed that question whether the Oculus Quest can surpass the PlayStation VR.
Yeah, it's possible.
Especially if we can get past this launch and they can keep a steady supply of the Oculus Quest. But I think once this thing, if it ever drops down to say $300, I think that's going to be a slam dunk. I think we might have a situation where one in every 5 gaming homes could possibly have an Oculus Quest. So, like a couple of more questions that just hit me, if I can ask you these questions.
Yeah, man.
One is that have you showed the Oculus Quest to friends, and have any of them said, I'm getting one is the next time they're available?
So the first person who I haven't actually, to be honest, I've been so busy, I haven't been able to get many people in it. Obviously the wife's been in it. I had a friend around the other day, but it was so I don't think he's played a game since PlayStation 2. Right. This guy is like the odd gamer. He's almost aged before his time. Oh no, video games. I don't play video games. He just thinks of him as Pac-Man, I think. I'm not sure. So I put him in Vader Immortal and he absolutely loved it. Like he absolutely loved it. And when we was driving back to work, he was saying to me, I don't feel right. Oh, what do you mean? He said, I feel like I've been somewhere else. I feel Is he still there? He's still there. Oh, dude, they cut out. Yeah. So he said he felt like he went somewhere else and came back. He just felt like, I don't know, like he'd been in the Matrix or something. And I said, yeah, man, that's what VR's like. That's how brilliant it is. And he has been asking me about it every day pretty much ever since, So because he's someone else as well. He looks at his pennies or his nickels and he counts them, and he wants to make sure that if he's buying something, it's a good investment. So yeah, I reckon if I can win him over, there's a lot of people you could win over,
Definitely. Yeah, I was definitely wondering about that. And VR does have that effect on you where I'm sitting in my living room and then I play a game like Lone Echo where I'm floating in space. I actually get worried that if I let go of that transport or something like that, I'm going to float off into, I'm going to float off to another planet or something like that. So sometimes that can be a little too real. I think there was some kind of I think BBC experience that I was playing on Oculus where you were at a space station and you needed to go outside and make repairs.
Yeah.
And I think something happened where you were blown off of the spot that you were repairing, and you were basically floating in space. And I'm trying to use the thrusters to get back to where I was, and then I think it ran out. The thrusters ran out, and so I'm just floating in dead space. And it felt like I was like, for a minute, I actually felt like if I don't get back to this space station, I'm going to die when my oxygen runs out. So sometimes VR can be a little too real.
Dude, have you tried Detached?
No, I haven't.
That is a very intense space game. Like that, nothing else has actually come quite as close to me as that. So Lone Echo is unforgettable because of the whole experience. But if you want to know what it's like to have boosters in zero gravity, Detached literally takes the safety wheels off. And dude, it's incredible. It is very good. I definitely recommend Detached if you like space games.
Is that an online game?
Yeah, you can basically like shoot rocket launchers at other people in space. Yeah, but I don't think there's much more. Oh, there's racing as well. You race through rings, and yeah.
Is this game only available on PlayStation VR, or can you get it on Steam as well?
I think it was originally on Steam, and then it came to PlayStation VR.
Okay, then I'm probably going to end up buying it off of Steam because I see that some of these games that are on Steam for PC VR, they have an online mode, but the PlayStation VR version of the game doesn't.
Right. Okay. Or it has less players. That happens a few times.
So well. So I definitely want to get the game if it has if it's multiplayer. So I definitely want to check that out. Tamas Hand says I felt like Sandra Bullock. Yeah, there was a couple of instances where I did feel like that. And I think that BBC experience that I was talking about, if I can remember correctly, there was an incident where there was an explosion and there was debris flying at me. So it's crazy. That's like I said, there are some games where in horror games too, that's where VR is a little too real. And when you're floating in space, that's when, especially if it's got good graphics, that's where VR is just a little too real. But now you struck my interest about Detached, and I'm definitely probably going to take a look at this once we conclude this stream. And I might try to see if I can find it on G2A or something like that. I think the game's been out long enough that maybe I can find it cheap on.
Yeah, I think that. I think I first live streamed it. It's got to be over 6 months ago, easy. And dude, I think I was in shock most of the time playing it. I was like, you press a booster a bit too much, all of a sudden you're spinning, and you're like, oh my god, I can't turn around. And I was shouting a lot, and yeah, it's quite. I think you'll get a lot out of it if you believed you were running out of oxygen in the real world because of VR. I think you're gonna love it.
All right, I'll definitely check it out. And I forgot.
Yes, I am from London.
Oh, cool. I forgot one of the questions I was going to ask you, but I'll ask another in place of it. And do you think a game like Space Junkies could come to the Quest?
So I interviewed Adrian Lacey, and it was one of the first questions, but one of the questions I asked him, because, as I said, I've sort of had a idea that the Quest was going to be a big deal. And he said at this time, we are not thinking about bringing it over to the Quest. I think they very much struggled graphically getting onto the PlayStation in comparison to the PC. So, and combine that with the numbers that they've sold, it's not been a particularly big hit as they would hope in, and it deserves. I think it's a great game. It definitely deserves to have more players because obviously it's an online game, so you need that to make it good. It's a great game. I personally, I don't think you'll see it come to Quest.
Okay, so do you think? It is definitely. Said our guns really banned in the UK. Well, my issue with Space Junkies, I think it is a great game. I think it's a lot of fun, but I think that Ubisoft created an unnecessary problem pricing the game at $40. Eric for President thinks that price is a part of it, but he also feels that players should have an option to be able to join a room regardless of who's in there, because he thinks that with their current algorithm, it tries to match you up with someone of your same level, and because of that, it makes it harder to find a match. And
I can ask Adrian that now if you want me. I can message him.
Okay.
I've not. I can also. I'm not guaranteeing he can answer me, but I can definitely send it to you privately. His answer on that, So what was it? An algorithm.
This was coming from Eric for President. He was suggesting that they allow people to go join a room, even if you're a level 5 and whoever's in there is a level 50, because his belief was that Ubisoft wanted to keep people playing together in the same level, so they don't get frustrated that they're going up against a pro and getting their ass kicked. Right. Eric for President thinks that because of that, that's one of the reasons why you don't see full rooms in the game. And he thinks that if they allows you to go into a room, regardless of what the level is of the person that's in there, he thinks that can generate some matches, which I think is a good point. But I still think the $40 price tag, I still think that's the biggest issue why this game isn't doing as well as it was. Because when I played the beta, I remember feeling like, yeah, hey, this game is surprisingly fun, but $40 is a little rich for my blood. I mean, I didn't buy the game until it went on sale. When it was on sale for $15, then I picked it up for both the PlayStation and the Oculus. And so I think if they were to, I know asking them to knock it down to a permanent $15 might be reaching, but I think it would still go a long ways and towards building up a community. Then they could set themselves up to sell these yearly passes and stuff like that, because I know that's what Ubisoft wants to do, like they do with Rainbow Six. They wants to sell these season passes and stuff. And I think you have to knock the price down of the game to get them through the door first.
Right. Yeah, man. Yeah, I don't know what to say in return of that because I can't. So I agree the price is too high. They should have definitely brought it down. It was too high. When I saw it, I was like, come on, man, this is a VR multiplayer game. There's no actual single player part of it. It is purely multiplayer. If the game relies solely on multiplayer, you need as many people playing it as possible, which means you need to make it as affordable as possible, surely, as part of the marketing strategy. And yeah, I thought it was a high price. I thought the game, I think it like maybe, I don't know, at a push £25, which is what, $30 maybe at a push, would have been the highest you should have gone. If you really wanted to hit that massive amount of people, I would have said, I don't know, $15.99, $14.99 in pounds, which is like $20. Then I think the quality of that game is Ubisoft quality. The controls are fantastic. The level, I think it's a great game. I think it's lovely and fast, and I think it really does give me that competitive online shoot 'em up VR feeling that I don't get everywhere. But yeah, dude, just gotta, it's I hope they do it because they did have a sale. I think you said they did have a sale, and the beta was very busy. A lot of people were in the beta, but a lot of people were saying they wanted to wait for a sale. So I don't know whether they picked it up or not.
Hey, I want to respond to a question. Red Ranger said, "You guys don't play regular video games anymore. You want to take that one?"
Dude, I play video. Oh mate, today is actually my first day off from playing video games, and I still had to play a video game for half an hour.
Like he's asking us if we do we still play flat screen video games because he can see that we're both enthusiasts.
Dude, right, okay. You know what? He could be actually onto something there. Do I still play? Only if there's something quite special. I love retro games. I'm still a retro gamer. I'd rather play an old Dreamcast, NES, SNES, N64. Do you know what I mean? I'd rather play retro games than I would quite up-to-date games. I dabble in Fortnite. I dabble in Apex Legends. I still haven't finished Resident Evil 2, the remake, which was absolutely mind-blowing, I thought. What's your most recent game that you've played flat?
Me?
Lincoln? Yeah.
I attempted to play Days Gone, which I think is an amazing game.
Yes, you and me both.
Yeah, I started to play the game, but I couldn't finish it because of a couple of things. I had watched several streams of people playing the game, and then I got caught up watching those streams, and I just couldn't stay away from VR. So to answer your question, Red Ranger, I think it's only going to take a game like The Last of Us 2 or Ghost of Tsushima. Those are the only games that those are the only flat screen games that I think that I can play and that I will finish. Because that's been the big issue right there.
The new Call of Duty as well actually is looking very good.
It is. But that is a game that, as far as the campaign goes, it's a game that I could definitely get started, but I may not finish it.
And Death Stranding, yeah, he's bang on, yeah. And
in my case, that was the least. That game was the least that I was looking forward to. As crazy as that sounds, because it
does sound crazy.
As far as the games that we thought were coming out in 2019, I was looking the most forward to The Last of Us 2, then the Ghost of Tsushima, then Days Gone, then Death Stranding. So Death Stranding was at the bottom of my list. It is an interesting looking game, but I have to be honest in saying that chances are I would end up starting the game and not finishing it.
There's no two ways about it, man. If all those games used to come out at once, I would still buy Last of Us 2 first out of all them. Mm-hmm. Absolutely.
And I think it's already a given that The Last of Us 2 is going to have online multiplayer, because the multiplayer of the current Last of Us 2 is still an amazing game. And so I expect the same thing coming from The Last of Us 2. That right there that probably has the best chance of tying me up well after I would finish the campaign. The multiplayer of that game could still keep me interested in the game. So that's all I can tell you. Other than me looking forward to Ghost of Tsushima, The Last of Us 2, and probably Shenmue 3. Those are really the only upcoming flat screen that I'm looking forward to.
I don't know how I'm going to get time to play some of these.
Oh. Yeah, exactly. They're going to end up, anything else, if I pick it up, is going to end up being a backlog game.
Yeah, man, it's just so much VR, dude. It's a brilliant way to be, really, because I remember when I got the Kinect and there was nothing to play on it. So it's lovely that actually, especially with what I do now, like, and it sounds bad, I don't think there's any new games coming out for PlayStation next week. And I don't think we had any this week. Because for some reason they dropped 3 massive titles in 1 week, which is completely crazy. I don't know who agreed that. I don't know why they didn't spread them out week by week by week. But I was really pleased that Blood and Truth got #1. Like, being the #1 selling PlayStation game, that is a big deal. That is a huge deal.
For that.
Yeah, it's massive. It's absolutely massive.
For the growth of VR, definitely. Not just for the growth of the PlayStation VR, but for the industry as a whole. That is huge. It is the first time that a VR game hit #1 on the UK charts. That is phenomenal.
Yeah, absolutely.
We still have some other highly anticipated games coming up this year with Iron Man VR, with the No Man's Sky VR update, and Lone Echo 2. So, I mean, there's still some heavy hitters coming out. And I haven't played Vader Immortal yet because I was waiting for it to come to the Rift.
Oh, okay. Yeah. I mean, someone said that to me the other day. There's like, oh, what do you think? Do you think it's going to be better on the Rift? And I was like, well, visually, yeah. I'll be very surprised if it isn't. But does it look good on the Quest? Yeah, it looks great. So the games that on PC that I know of that sound pretty cool is Stormland, Lone Echo 2, as you said, Asgard's Wrath, Defector, Undead Citadel. What else we got? Battle Wake. That looks pretty cool. And there was one more, but I can't remember at the moment. Yeah. So I mean, there is games everywhere, dude. There's games everywhere. Crackhead El Loco.
VR with Brainwash. Yeah, he's the guy that likes to pop in here and have some fun every now and then.
I think he's bang on though, man. I think he's right. He does brainwash her. He ain't wrong.
I guess depending on how you look at it, you could be right, because I really don't care to play any other games than VR. So I guess if you want to look at it that way, yes, you very well could be right that VR does brainwash you. It's kind of giving me tunnel vision. I mean, I kind of closed my scope on wanting to try out other games. So yeah, I guess in that aspect you got me.
Yeah, man. Yeah.
So I know I said we were going to get out of here a few minutes ago, so we'll go ahead and shut it down. And once again, I want to thank everyone for tuning in. You guys have been phenomenal. I've been keeping my eye on the comment section. And again, I want to thank Gamertag for coming through. His insight on the Oculus Quest is huge, and it's going to go a long ways towards me going ahead and pick up one. The big snag was me waiting for, cost of what it was going to cost, to get my car repaired. But I don't think that's really going to matter. I'm still going to go ahead and get it.
Yeah, man. Cool. So I can't wait to hear your opinions.
Coming by. And make no mistake about it. Even though it's not for me, best believe I'm going to get some time in on it. I'm definitely going to spend some time on the Quest. Make no mistake about it.
Sweet, dude. Sweet.
What I'm scared of is that I might end up liking it too much and have to buy 2 of them.
Yeah, or just like not letting your son play it. Go, yeah, play the Rift. I'm on this.
Well, that's something that very well could happen. If I get the Quest, if I want to get the Quest for him, then when he comes over on the weekend, then he might, spend time on the Rift because of the better graphics and more details, lighting, particle effects, and that kind of stuff. But I think he's gonna like the Quest, and I don't doubt that I'm gonna like the Quest.
And really you can play VR together. Certain games you'd be able to be in VR together. Rec Room, VR chat.
Yeah, and that is definitely the hope. If I were to get him a Quest, games like that Population 1 that I mentioned that is crossplay on the Quest, that's definitely something that I would love to be able to play with him, while he's at home. So
yeah.
So again, Gamertag, I want to thank you for coming by. That was huge. And again, anytime you want to, invite me over to one of your podcasts, it would be my pleasure to jump on over there. So
bless you, dude. Yeah, cheers, man. Thank you.
I appreciate it. So with that being said, that's going to do it for us, everybody. You know, hit a like, comment, share, all that good stuff. And that's going to do it for us. We're going to go ahead and boogie on out of here. We'll catch everybody later. You guys have a good one.
Take care, guys. Thank you. Oh.